Good afternoon, everyone. This is Saturday morning, and what am I doing here again? Well, I'm back with the sixth episode of my video podcast, Candid Convos. And today, as usual, I have a special guest with me who is going to speak on, well, these kind of details only he can provide us that what is he doing here on a Saturday afternoon and what is he going to talk about? So over to the special guest.
Thanks, Kavita. Thanks for calling me, first of all, to your this podcast series. Good to be here. I mean, you know me. Do I have to?
Yes. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Yeah, my name is Jatin. Kavita and me know each other since we are both members of HSR Toastmasters Club. And of course, the friendship is not just restricted to Toastmasters, but even beyond that. So yeah, that's how we two know each other from last 2+ years, and yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jatin. I'm very happy that finally I can make you or I can force you to be a part of this podcast. So I'm very, very happy right now and excited also on what is going to be there in store in today's podcast. So the topic on which we are going to talk about is Toastmasters. Now, as Jatin mentioned that he and we are a part of HSR Toastmasters Club. So today we are going to dig deeper on what is this Toastmasters? Is it something related to giving a toast to somebody, or what is it? And why it is so important and how it can really make a difference in our lives. So straight away, let me just cut to the chase and ask the first question to Jatin. So Jatin, first of all, let's start with this only. What is Toastmasters? And also, how did you land up here?
Okay, I mean, Toastmasters, by the general definition of things, it is a non-profit organization which helps people get better at their public speaking, and while doing so, get better at leadership skills as well. And if you know the tagline, it's called "Where Leaders Are Made." And the whole philosophy is that the world needs more of leaders. And to become a good leader, you need to be good in your communication skills and, say, addressing audiences, or let's say managing your teams, where your communication becomes a very important part. So that's where it's a podium, it's a platform where people come together, they practice these skill sets with a certain set education program in place. And that's how, and of course that is the basic thing why people come into this. But of course you get to network with people, you get to also learn other skills, not just public speaking, but you get to interact with people. And I think that's
so
where
how did you land in Toastmasters?
How did I land? I think it's a pure accident that I came into Toastmasters. I'll tell you right from the moment I heard Toastmasters. So I started my career in 2015 and I was in Bangalore. I was living with 4 other flatmates, and one of them, Ishan, he was telling me someday that he's going somewhere. And I just asked him, like, where are you going? And he mentioned that he's going to that's when he mentioned the word Toastmasters, he's going to some Toastmasters meeting. He was a part of some club there. I had absolutely zero idea. Okay, that moment he just went because he was getting late for it. But later in the night when we were speaking, like, what is it? And, I was just asking him like all the curious questions that what is it and all those things. So he said, when he explained to me what I just mentioned to you, he explained to me these things, and he said, try to figure out in your company, there must be a Toastmasters club. There's a good chance of having it in your company. I'm like, okay, I'll go and just, I'll probably check with, from the HR department somewhere that, if such thing exists in our club or not. And believe me, the very next day, somewhere around 2:30 or something, 2:30 p.m., I was at my workplace, like the desk, and there's an email that comes up which tells that demo Toastmasters meeting happening on so-and-so date, and so-and-so people are going to be coming there. Like, literally, I didn't have to ask for it. like I didn't had to reach out to someone to figure out what is Toastmaster. Is there a club happen in the company or not? Mail just came out. I'm like, okay, that's great. Like that's some sort of sign. I was just thinking about it yesterday, and it so happened that a mail has come. Like true story. And yes, fair enough. I went to the demo meeting, and I saw what exactly happens, and I was terrified when I first saw it. And I thought, the person I saw in, doing the MC role there was Ashin Paul, who came last week in our meeting.
Okay.
I saw him there and I'm like, okay, what is it? Like, I can never do this. Like such, addressing so many people and, coming up on, with thoughts and words on the go. I'm like, so difficult. But yeah, that's how it started. So just to cut it, short, I spent about 8 to 9 months in Toastmasters in Mu Sigma. And that's when I became associated with it. After that, I switched my workplace and I could not get associated with Toastmasters for next 2 years. And then December 2018, I joined HSR Toastmasters, and that's when it restarted, and I've been able to continue this so far. So that's how it came into existence in my life, Toastmasters.
Got it. So I think it was just a chance encounter, right? Like when you came to know about this Toastmasters and all. So since we're talking about this, let me just quickly share how I came to know about Toastmasters. So it was not that I heard it from somebody, first of all. I was getting really, really bored on a Saturday, okay? And I was just new to Bangalore and I didn't know anyone as well. So I was like, what should I do? What should I do? So then I don't know from where it came to me that I'm like, dude, you always wanted to do this speaking and all, you wanted this public speaking, but somehow you left because of your studies and everything. Why don't you check on Google whether there is some kind of a platform where you can do that? So I Googled, and the first thing which came out was Toastmasters. And then as soon as I entered, I was like, what the hell is this? This is like, right, that treasure, the chest, that like somebody has found the treasure. It's like that. Then I went ahead and I'm like, wow, there is a club near to Electronic City. Oh my God, today there is a meeting at 4 and we can attend as a guest. Oh my God, it was so many things which I got to know that day. And I just went there in the meeting, and the first thing I entered, I sat down, and there were 2 people. They came to me and they said, hey, hi. So what's your name and how did you come to know about this? I'm like, first of all, why these guys are being so nice to me? What is their deal? So first of all, that question was running in my mind. Okay, but of course, later I came to know that how the meeting is being run and all, right? So that was my encounter, and it was pretty hilarious. Like even when I'm saying it, like after 4 years, I truly feel that energy and that excitement the day I felt that day, right? So it was amazing. Cool. So which brings me to the next question is, we know that Toastmasters, according to the definition, it provides a public speaking and leadership platform. But there are many people who are like, why do we need public speaking, right? Like if a person is introvert, right? He will be like, I don't want to get into public speaking stuff, dude. I'm just okay with normal communicating with people. So do you have any kind of comments on this? Do you feel that it can make a difference to somebody who is not at all into public speaking overall?
Yeah, I think the question fits perfectly to me. Like I'm an introvert, and I know a lot of people in Toastmasters are introverts. And why do we need this? So I think every person can have their own goals that they want to achieve through Toastmasters. Say, for example, I didn't came to Toastmasters because I wanted to experience public speaking or leadership. No, that was not the idea. The reason I came is somewhere on the lines what you mentioned. So I came into it. So I started with an accident, incidentally I started it. I got to know about it. But when I joined in 2018 in HSR, that was a pure call. And why did I chose that? Because I was feeling that I was missing some sort of social circle. And I just wanted to get associated with people somehow back again and just wanted to spend some productive time. I was also feeling that I'm not utilizing the time properly at that time. And I was like, okay, I know that Toastmasters exist. I have been there. So I know the nitty-gritties of it. Why don't I go back? So that was my idea to, come back to Toastmasters. And yes, everyone can have their own takeaways. Someone can come here just for friendships. Someone can come here just for, say, developing a better network, which is a byproduct of, being in such a atmosphere. And of course, then people would come there to improve their speaking skills and, eventually the leadership skills. And this is the need of the hour. If you see the way the things are evolving in the world, if you're not good at, let's say, your career can stagnate if you're not able to rise above in a hierarchy and you can lead others. And how will you be able to lead others? Through your interpersonal skills, through your, skills of speaking and verbally as well as writing, right? So those skills definitely, when you write a script for your speech, your writing skills are tested. When you give a speech, your delivery skills are tested. And that is where, you get to know about yourself a bit more. And you develop that confidence in yourself. You develop that maturity, and you understand how to deal with situations, how to deal with people. And that's where, parallelly, your communication and leadership skills are honed. And definitely, it helps you either directly in your career or indirectly in your personal life. So I would say it's up to the person what they want to get out of it, but there are short benefits. Anyone and everyone, in my knowledge, who has given their best, given like some sincerity, shown some sincerity towards Toastmasters, and have been there, and they have hung there for some time, they've got some benefit for sure. I have not met anyone who has been there for good enough time and have not got anything out of it. No, it's not just possible. So there are a lot of things to offer from Toastmasters. It depends on you what you want to get out of it. Of course, two things are very popular, which you will get, but there are other things as well. So yeah, I found social circuit. I found you there. So that's an example right there. That
wow, thank you.
I've made few friends in Toastmasters, which I wouldn't have made otherwise had I not been connected with it. Right? I have now at this point, if I look at my mobile phone and look at the contact list I have, there are so many Toastmasters who are part of my contact list, and they're not just on phone book only. I know them like to different capacities. Everyone I know to a different extent. Right? I would say I've made some really, really good friends. So that's my major takeaway from Toastmasters.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest byproduct, I can say, which you get out of Toastmasters, right, by default, is the network, right? You get to meet people, you get to talk to them, and you build genuine connections. It's not like superficial. It's not on superficial level, right? You might see that in your professional circles, there is not that connection. You're only related mostly through the work which you are delivering, right? But when you become a part of this community, then you are like, oh, I know this person. I know what he's doing in his life, right? So you feel that genuine connection with that person. And that's, I think, it's one of the most amazing outcome which one gets out of Toastmasters. So of course, they say that you get into Toastmasters for some reason, but you leave Toastmasters like with completely different thing, which you never thought you will ever experience in your life. So this is something which is there in my experience as well. So my next question will be, so it's been how many years since you're a part of Toastmasters now?
So on paper, I joined Toastmasters in 2016 while working in Mu Sigma. Correct. But if I look at like the reality of it, how much I have been in Toastmasters, like literally without, leaving out the gaps that were there between one Toastmaster club to another. So say 8 months before, and then in HSR, I have been there for 2.5 years, technically, which I have been there. So you can say that, 3 years is what I would say roughly I have been associated Toastmasters in reality. Otherwise, on paper, I'll be on longer duration, say 5 years on paper. But in reality, whatever I have, because why I'm stressing on this word reality is because there are people who join Toastmaster, they become Toastmasters member forever, but they don't improve, or they don't do it, they don't really rise from what they started because they were not really invested into it. I would say I've been invested in Toastmasters consistently for 3 years. So that's why I'm putting up, this star thing here.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm not going to comment any further on this. Yeah. Okay. So it's been 3 years for you right now, Jatin. So just throw some light on your journey. Like, what was that point where you started? What kind of a person you were? And over these 3 years, what kind of changes you see in yourself?
Right. So sometimes it is difficult to self-evaluate yourself on such things because you meet yourself pretty much every day. So right, you think about and you have been there. So it's difficult sometimes to evaluate how much you have improved. But the people who have seen us, let's say at that point of stage and the later stage of our life, they are the ones who I believe can better evaluate and tell us how much change they have witnessed. And there are some people who have known me from that time. Say Ashwin, for example, he has known me from that time, and he knows me even now. So someone like him, and there have been other people as well who have told me that yes, what you were. So I joined Toastmasters in 2016. I graduated in 2015. There's a friend called Saurabh. He met me recently in Jaipur. He said, when I looked at you in college, you were so shy, underconfident, very reserved, and few other things like. And then he sees me now. He says there's a ton of difference that has come in you in terms of how you come out as a person and how you interact and your confidence. And yeah, so this is a testimony which I've received from people who I know up close, who have seen me from that time or even before, and they have seen me now. So using that testimony, I can surely say that yes, there's a difference come. And of course, even I can feel that yes, there's a difference that have come in me. Now I feel very confident to talk to anyone and everyone. Like even if I travel in a cab, let's say there's the cab driver, I interact with him, like ask him general questions, how's it going? I try to interact with him. Let's say if I'm traveling in a airplane where there's a co-passenger, and if that passenger is comfortable talking, then yes, I do like to interact. I know recently I was traveling in plane and there was a uncle sitting. He was coming from Mumbai. I was just interacting with him. He was telling me that his business is about of a restaurant business and how long he's been doing this. And I was like, okay. Previously, I would have been really, really terrified to even start the conversation. Now I can do that, and it's not that it comes naturally. I put it as a challenge on me that okay, since I'm in a public speaking sphere and I want to improve on this, why don't I give some challenges to myself? That's one challenge that I gave to myself that yeah, whenever I'm traveling a social circle, if there are some new people around me, I would try, if they're comfortable, I would try to interact with them, try to understand something more. And I think that's where the confidence has come from Toastmasters only, because I've interacted like close to 100, like not 100, I mean, few hundred people I've interacted so far in the club, beyond the club. I've been to area, division, and whichever capacity I could go there, do some role. I've interacted with a lot of people, and I think that has given me confidence.
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing, right? Whatever we learn in Toastmasters, it just translated to our real life, the people whom we interact, right? And how we behave in front of people. So since you told about your college, Jatin, so I would also like to just add something here. So if somebody from my college, if that person see me right now, they would be like, Kavita, who are you? This Kavita, we can't relate to this Kavita. Because I never used to talk to people. I was so shy, reserved. I was like, why there is a need to talk when without words I can do my stuff, right? So this was how I am. And now the way I am, the way I talk to even strangers, even people whom I have probably met for the first time, people are like, dude, this is just amazing, right? And I owe it to this platform. I owe it to Toastmasters because it helped me realize that, yeah, there is something that we need to strike a conversation. We should try to know people. We should try to build genuine connections, right? Not just on superficial level that you don't even care about them. Just try to become a part of their world, right? So this is something which I have learned through this platform. So I really it has been, it has transformed my life, the way I interact with the world, especially. So yeah, I owe it to Toastmasters. So yeah. So the next question is, see, Jatin, no matter how many good things we talk here about Toastmasters, right? But you know that when there are many people involved, it has its own set of challenges, right?
Yeah.
Different person, different priorities. You need to deal with each and every person differently, right? And now that you are the president of HSR Toastmasters Club, I can literally imagine how challenging it can be. So just if you could just tell what kind of challenges you have faced, first of all, maybe one or two instances, and what did you learn out of tackling those challenges?
Yeah, that's a fair question. It has really happened. So just to give a background, so I have been in like the executive committee of the club, which is a leadership committee of the club, for fourth term now. So basically, I'm going to complete 2 years just being in that sphere of things. So when you're dealing with people, they're not always going to be good moments. There's going to be some tension-filled moments, or there are going to be some frictional moments, and that has happened. I remember I was VP Education in January 2019 to June 2019. And I had just joined the club a month ago. Like I joined in December, and by the end December got over, I became VP Education, which by itself is a very, very demanding job. Like I've not been a part of the club for more than a month, and I just applied for the role and I got into it. Now, there's a reason why VP Education role is a demanding job, is because you have to interact with a lot of people. You have to make decisions right there. I remember one incident. There was a person in our club. I won't name it. He's not a member of the club right now, but he was there at that time. He was a senior member of the club. I, as a VP Education, had to make a choice at that time. I had to take a call on something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember that I had to make a decision. And somehow that decision, which I took for the benefit of club and for the overall benefit of everyone, this person was kind of a part of that decision, and he did not like it because probably he did not got some role or something like that. And he got offended because of that. And he messaged me that, who are you and what do you think you are? I've been a member of this club for so long. Nobody has done this like this. I'm like, I have not done anything of that sort, which he is thinking that I've done. So I had a very polite response to that. And I just checked him, like, because I'm a kind of person who obviously would not like to offend anyone by any way, right? So when he felt offended, and he was kind of making me feel guilty that I have done something wrong to him, which I felt I have not. I was like, can you just tell me why you're feeling this and what have I done here? But he was not ready to answer to that question, but he was rather just making me feel guilty and passing on a judgment from his behalf that, yes, I have done something really wrong. And that's how. So he was basically blaspheming me, or basically putting me under the bus by saying that, I've been in the club for so long. I've seen so many people. Who are you? You have just come, yesterday, because I was young in the club. And I obviously discussed this thing with the president at that time that, so-and-so thing happened. But then, yeah, this thing happened. I eventually just ignored this person afterward. I'm like, okay, he's not ready to listen to me. And yeah, so be it. So that's one thing which happened with let's say, interacting with a member. And then, yes, even working in a team as such, in executive committee, when you work and you have to deal with people and you expect something to happen and those things doesn't turn up well. Let's say right now, if I am serving as a president and I have to get some things done from someone, and that thing either is not done or not done to the standard I'm expecting, then there is that conversation which I need to have. And if this trend happens for a long period of time, then I have to interact with this person and talk to him, try to understand what is happening and where I can help that person. And those are difficult conversations at times when I feel that, okay, this person is not putting up the effort that I expect at this point. So yeah, these are the difficult moments which do come. I'm not going into the explicit case here, but yeah, in general, this definitely happens. At least I've experienced the last 4 months or so. And yeah, previously in the club I mentioned when I was serving as VP, that happened. And yes, even among members, I feel that when you stay long enough, there's a saying that, right? Either you die as a hero or you live long enough to become a villain. It happens like sometimes that, you have at the start you have very good relationship with people, and over a period of time some incident happen, and then there's some bitterness that come up, or I don't know, ego clash may come up. I don't know. It can happen because if you are someone and the other person is someone, they think like, who is this? Like, that coldness come into picture, and that, yes, that has happened. So I would say it's a part of journey. It's a part of learning as well, that, when you stay long enough, you get to experience the emotions of people, where I can go wrong, where others can behave differently and whatnot. So I would say this is part of journey, interacting directly with members as friends, interacting with them from the level of a committee member. There are learnings which I have, and not so good moments there are, which have happened.
Yeah, like I can completely understand, because this is something which I have realized lately, generally, what happens is people are different. So if you think that your style work with everybody, then you are in for a shock. So the thing is, the different set of people you deal with, you need to tweak the way you communicate to them, right? If you really want, if you want your team to really achieve some kind of a result, right? So this is one of my learnings. And second learning is that you can't make everybody happy. So let's be comfortable with this concept, because I was not familiar of this. Okay, I was like, if I'm dealing with certain person, I'm extremely nice, I'm being extremely good to that person, and I should get that, right, in return. I deserve it. That's what I used to think. But then lately I realized that, dude, it's not like that. You being nice doesn't give you that right or that chance that other person will also behave the way you want them to. It doesn't work, right? So I'm like,
there's a saying, right? If you will not eat a lion, doesn't mean the lion will not eat you. So
exactly,
exactly. Believe me or not, this very thing that you're mentioning, I was just talking to my mother, just today morning or maybe a day before. Same thing I was discussing with her, that see, we can't expect. First of all, you can't make everyone happy. This is my basic learning which I have. Like, two things which I've really improved upon is I've learned how to be patient. I would say I'm still in to a lot of things, but I've at least got better. Second thing is, I can't make everyone happy. No matter what I do, no matter how good I'm trying to do, you cannot make everyone happy, and that is a reality. And that's not just with me. That's like everyone in every sphere of things that you do in life. And yes, you can't expect someone else to give it to you the way you have given it.
Yeah.
It's a harsh reality, but yeah, gotta accept this thing, move on.
Correct. I mean, this is the biggest of my learnings, which has really helped me to being a kind of better version of myself. That I need to stop worrying like how others are going to take what I'm saying, right? I just need to express myself. I need to take a stand. I need to express my opinions. And if they don't like it, I need to be okay with it. Every time I don't have to tell them, no, this is what is right. What I'm saying is right, and you should believe it. You should do that. No, that's not going to happen. They are going to do what they want to do. Similarly, the way I function, right? I'm just saying what I want to say. So they are also doing what they want to do. So let's be comfortable with that.
So even there, I would say this point that, the aspect of Toastmasters, if you look at from a point of view, what you can take it into your life, it's the loop of feedback. See, we're going to improve only get feedback. But feedback does not mean that every point that has come to you, you have to implement. You have to be open-minded about it, that, okay, whatever feedback has been given to me, let me just evaluate to what extent I can implement that. Should I implement it in the first place or not? And there would be a lot of points that will come to you which would not make any sense to you, and you are free and you should not implement those in your life. And similarly here, you will do something, someone would not. What happens is, we tend to get approval for everyone. But what I'm doing is correct. When everyone approves, or especially those people who we think are the most wise, the wisest people around us, if they approve us, then only we'll do that, and then only we are right. No, that's not true. They they must be wise in their own, aspect, or in their own right. But that does not mean that they're going to agree to everything that you are doing. And their disagreement doesn't mean that you should not do that. If you think that you should be open-minded about it, think and evaluate whatever feedback they're giving. Don't ignore that. Take it into account. But then final call should be yours. There's a saying in Hindi, "Suno jag ki, karo man ki," which means like hear from everyone, but you do the final call. You take the final call by your own, intelligence, so that later on you don't regret that I did something just because that person said it, and I did not do what I actually want to do. So take into account the opinions and thoughts of others with an open mind. Think about it, evaluate, put your own intelligence into it, and whatever you think finally is right, you do it. And that is a major learning that I have in Toastmasters so far.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if I have to really discuss what kind of learnings I have got while being in Toastmaster for 4 years, I think this podcast will run for like maybe 6 hours or something.
Absolutely.
There are so many things to talk about, right?
Yes.
You get to know about people. The more you interact with different set of people, you get different kind of learnings, right? You are like, oh, this works with this person, but it doesn't work with that person, right? Because individuals are different, right? So yeah, this is one of the learnings, I would say. Okay, so this I won't just extend it any further. My final question to you: if you need to really, first of all, do you think that people should join Toastmasters? Not like for like their whole life, but at least once. Do you think it's kind of a one-time experience which everyone should have?
Yes, I think it's definitely worth an attempt. Yeah, there are a lot of people who come. See, I've been in Toastmaster for decent enough time that I can comment on this thing, that I've seen a lot of people coming into Toastmasters and a lot of people leaving Toastmasters. I would say, if you're coming here, you should be clear, first of all, why you're coming. At least you should have some sort of idea why you're coming here, right? You should go, that's why, when we are in membership, let's say in the committee, and that's when we recommend that, okay, you want to join the club? Okay, wait. Come in the club as a guest, attend 2 meetings, evaluate if you like what you saw here, and then decide whether you want to join or not. And also, what are the things that are happening here aligning with your own objective or not. So I would say it's definitely worth an attempt to give it a shot and see what Toastmasters has to offer you. If you think it's good enough, stay there for some time, but be involved, see what you can get out of it. If you're getting some value out of it, which I'm sure you would get to some extent, if you do that, it also depends how much effort you are putting. If you're getting that, then yeah, you continue for longer durations in your life. And yeah, if it doesn't, and you have some other priorities in life which comes over, you obviously move on. A lot of people who goes out of Toastmasters come back again Toastmasters. Why? I went out of Toastmasters for 2 years. I came back. There were 2 instances. When I left Mu Sigma, there were 2 years gap. I came to Toastmasters because I knew what Toastmasters has to offer. I knew it, and that's why I came. Nobody pushed me. Nobody said anything to me. I came on my own choice. Next, even in HSR Toastmasters, I had to leave HSR for 3 months when I was switching my job and there were other plans. Somewhere around July 2019, and I came back in October 2019. Again, nobody asked me to join it again. In fact, one of my reasons to go to Bangalore, I was not in Bangalore that time, I was in Jaipur. I came back to Bangalore. There was a reason why I was willing to come to Bangalore, because of the connection with the club and what I had a connection with Toastmasters in general. And I felt, HSR is where I want to go again. So yeah, if you get some value out of it, you would want to go back again. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. I mean, at least you should give it a shot, is what I would always recommend to everyone, to whatever extent you can. But
yeah,
do try.
That's true. Like, since I'm VP membership right now, so sometimes when people ask, right, that why should we join Toastmasters? What are you going to get out of it? Of course, I have to give an answer. So I just give it based on my experience. But then every time I think that maybe I can't tell you this. Maybe this is something which is worth giving a shot, right? It needs to be experienced. Exactly. And you experience it, you figure it out. Because for each and every person, something different opens up for them, right? For me, it is completely different. So I can't literally give one perfect answer to this question, that why you should join Toastmasters.
Kavita, the other day we were talking about that Toastmasters has given some stand-up comedians. There's a truth behind it. There are people who have joined Toastmasters, become so confident, they started giving humorous speeches, and eventually they developed a whole career out of it.
Correct.
Trainers people have become professional coaches out of the experience and the learning from Toastmasters, because network they have found, and so Toastmasters different things to different people.
Yeah. Like whatever you want to do in your life, right? Or maybe you don't know what you want. Maybe this will help you to explore that option. Maybe you will realize it while you are in this journey, right? So yeah, this is something which I really feel that it is amazing, worth giving a shot. I'm not saying you become a part of it like for all your life. Worth giving a shot for at least 6 months. That's what I believe in. So yeah.
True.
Yeah. So okay. So this was my final question to you, Jatin. And any final thoughts on what was your experience, first of all, with this podcast? And how did you like the presenter? You can offer a few compliments also, I don't mind. But jokes apart, what was your experience? And yeah.
Firstly, I would say it was nothing new for me. I think we have been interacting for a significant time now. We do talk once in a while, definitely beyond Toastmasters as well and other things. It is just that, I'm talking to you as a regular affair of things, and it's just that we have put a camera in front of us and we have put we are recording it, and we're doing it like, let's say, for a perspective of other people also seeing it. That's the only difference. Otherwise, I think even if the camera would have not been there, we're just speaking over voice call, or let's say we are not recording this, I would have still been the same. So I would say in a way it's very usual way of talking to you. It is just that we have touched upon few topics specifically.
Okay.
The other thing I love about it is that you are trying to do something by coming up with a podcast series. So you are someone who's always needs something new to do, right? You want to try something else. And there is this Kida mere andar bhi hai, like slightly. I also want to, and I see that you are doing it. I'm not doing it. That's the difference here. You started doing this, and I just thought about to do that. So I would say it's kind of motivating for me that the way you are doing this podcast series. I should also look at whether this or something else that I have, plan in mind. I should execute that. So I would say just really like interacting with you in any way in general. And we're recording here for a podcast, but and what you're doing is basically giving me I'm thinking in my own head, I should do something as well. So that is my take. Also,
it took me a long time to start with this podcast, by the way, but then now that I have started, now I'm really excited and I look forward to it every week. That wow, new person, new interactions, new topic. I just feel so amazing. So this is just have become a part of the ritual nowadays. Okay, so it's been really wonderful, and I just what should I say? I have absolutely amazing person you are. I know it's been 2 years, 2.5 years, I think, that I know you. And whatever interactions we have, it's so enriching and it's so positive. I feel so good after talking to you or any form of interaction. Yeah, I do pull your leg many times.
This is for the recording.
But yeah.
You're saying this for the recording.
No, I'm just saying it literally. Yeah, I do pull your leg many times, but then you are a gem of a person. So I really appreciate you coming here and taking out your time from your busy Saturday afternoon, if I must say.
I think we've been planning to do this for a week now, and for some reason, weekdays being, I think we have not been able to do that.
Yeah, correct.
But not in the interest of giving you a toast or something, but again, I would say I would echo the same sentiments that I have known you for the last 2+ years, and I remember when I came back to HSR in October, and I already heard that there's a girl who has come here and she's very enthusiastic. I'm like, who is she? Because I have not met you by the time, you already made a name for her. And then initially I thought, okay, she is a different kind of person, but then eventually I got to know about you, and I think without just saying it for without saying it for formality or something, yes, you have been like, you're a pillar of the club now in a way. The way you're holding the things in your own sphere of things, as a mentor, as a member, energy, the crazy amount of energy that you have. Like if we have a voting in the club right now among the most energetic people, and we have few energetic people, and I would say you would beat everyone by like a margin of, I don't know, 90% or something. That's how energetic you are, and it's not just one day, one moment. It's like almost every time that we see you in Toastmasters. The day you're not, I'm like worried. Okay, what happened to her? So this is kind of energy. This is the kind of energy that I've seen you, and club needs you. I would say any place that you are in, and where you can give energy to others. I think that place would really value you from that perspective. So.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I didn't mean to give it back to you in those things, but yeah, that's the truth as well.
No, actually, that was my intention. I praise you, you praise back. That was the intention, awesome. Right? No, awesome. Jokes apart, thank you so much. I feel really grateful that I'm a part of such wonderful club, and I've got some wonderful friends like you. So I feel really grateful. That's all I can say. So with this, we come to the end of this video podcast, Candid Convos. So guys, please do watch this video and share your comments. How did you like it? And what did you like? And what are different kind of topics you want me to cover in my future video podcast? And yeah, this is Jatin. This is Kavita signing off till we meet the next week. Bye-bye.